I saw the depth it showed out tonight, the speed of the perimeter players and the ability for so many guys that, around the perimeter to make plays, not only for themselves, but for others. I already knew that this kid, Dylan Harper, was going to be special.
The Spurs just beat LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers without Wemby.
For Harper. Smooth operator.
Thanks to a trio of guards and a bench that's suddenly one of the best in the league. The San Antonio Spurs are making noise without Victor Wembanyama. They took down the Lakers in a statement win, and the Stars weren't even the whole story. Their new three-guard lineup has people talking, but it's the depth and execution behind that trio that's truly reshaping this team's identity. If there are still Spurs doubters out there, their numbers are shrinking fast. Say what you want, but this team looks like a legitimate NBA contender right now. That's a bold statement, but hear me out. They've beaten 3 of the top 4 seeds in the conference and looked good doing it. That's not a fluke. And when they stepped into their matchup with the Lakers, they came in prepared. San Antonio's game plan was obvious from the opening tip. Push the pace, attack the rim, space the floor with shooters, and force Luka Dončić to beat them in pick and roll coverage. The formula worked. The Lakers couldn't keep up on either end. The Spurs turned defense into offense with 16 points off turnovers, piled up 27 fast break points, shot 50% from the field, and hit 45% from 3. They came out scorching, especially Keldon Johnson, who knocked down 3 triples in the first quarter and scored 13 of his 17 in the opening frame. Johnson led a bench unit that held it down when the starters sat. San Antonio's bench outscored the Lakers' reserves 48-31, with Dylan Harper and Julian Champagnie chipping in with 13 and 16 points. Whenever the Lakers found any momentum, it was because of Luka Dončić. He dropped 35 points and 8 assists, and a huge chunk of those assists went to Marcus Smart, who went off for 26 points off the bench with 8 threes. The Spurs dared him to shoot, and he made them pay for every inch of space they gave him. San Antonio built an 18-point lead midway through the second quarter, but the Lakers clawed back, thanks to Luka baiting fouls and a zone defense that slowed the Spurs' speed advantage. A LeBron dunk cut the lead to single digits in the final minute of the half, but steady vets Fox and Harrison Barnes answered with back-to-back scores to send the Spurs into the break up 70-58. It was a strong half, but with this Spurs team, you always wonder what the third quarter will bring, because that's where they've played some of their worst basketball this season, but not this time. The Spurs opened the third on a 10-2 run, grabbing their first 20-point cushion. Stephon Castle did most of the early damage, but Dončić forced Castle into his 4th foul, sending him to the bench earlier than planned. Even so, San Antonio held firm through the Luka onslaught and actually won the third quarter for a change, taking a 104-87 lead into the 4th. They kept the Lakers at arm's length for most of the final period, but with Marcus Smart still hitting threes and Luka doing Luka things, LA made one last push in the final 5 minutes. That's when the Spurs turned to their backcourt to seal it. Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox made every clutch play they needed to. Castle finished with 30 points on ridiculous efficiency, 10 of 14 shooting, plus 10 rebounds and 6 assists. And Fox, he played with complete poise, 20 points, a single turnover, and steady hands all night. It was a statement win for a young Spurs team. They executed Mitch Johnson's game plan perfectly and answered every Lakers counterpunch. And they did it all without Victor Wembanyama, who looked locked in from the bench. Next up, Las Vegas, where they'll face the 24-1 Oklahoma City Thunder with a shot at the NBA Cup Finals. Whether Wembanyama suits up or not, this Spurs squad has shown they have the talent and the toughness to go toe-to-toe with the defending champs. Think about what it took just to get to the NBA Cup semi-finals. The Spurs had to beat 2 legit contenders, the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers, and they did it both times on the road. Quick reminder, San Antonio is now 8-5 away from home, one of only 10 teams in the league with a winning road record. Outliers happen, but real contenders are the ones who consistently deliver in hostile arenas. And while these aren't postseason games, this is as close as you'll get to playoff intensity in December. The Spurs are handling that pressure with a 4-1 record in cup play. Against the Lakers, LA had zero answers for San Antonio's transition attack or the barrage of threes. Their guards were stellar and got plenty of help from the vets. Keldon Johnson set the tone early, 13 points and 3 huge triples in the opening quarter, and Harrison Barnes kept it rolling in the second. What stood out most was San Antonio's urgency. They were simply more determined to win, and every time the Lakers tried to make a push, the Spurs slammed the door. You can see this group maturing in real time, and for a franchise that's been stuck in limbo for years, it's a refreshing change. Playing without Victor Wembanyama has forced the Spurs to lean into their speed and athleticism. Over the 12 games he's missed, they rank 11th in pace, and they doubled down again on Wednesday, playing at a tempo just shy of the fastest team in the league to exploit the Lakers' old, slower legs. Combine that with a mountain of free throws and a steady flow of made threes, 5 Spurs hit between 2 and 5 triples, and they were rolling. The bench has been one of San Antonio's biggest weapons. They're top 8 in scoring at 39.3 points per game, and that number jumps to 43.5 without Wemby. Against LA, they beat the Lakers bench by 15. Johnson led all reserves with 17 points and 8 rebounds. Dylan Harper added 13, and Julian Champagnie poured in 16. And remember, Smart was the only Lakers bench player who logged real minutes, and he still needed 26 points just to keep them afloat. Still, there can't be enough praise for the way San Antonio's guards have been playing. Stephon Castle put together one of the best performances of his young NBA career, dropping 30 points with 10 rebounds and 6 assists, while bullying the Lakers in the paint all night long. De'Aaron Fox used his speed and pull-up game to keep San Antonio in full control, and for once, the Spurs actually won the foul battle. Their quickness kept forcing the Lakers into bad reaches and late contests. Castle alone took 9 free throws, and honestly, he probably deserved more with how much contact he was inviting around the rim. His development is moving fast. On Wednesday, he was the best player on the floor. Coach Mitch Johnson praised the way Castle harnessed all that energy and turned it into production, leading the team in paint scoring, rebounds, and assists. Meanwhile, the Lakers' defense had a rough night. They gave up 104 points through 3 quarters and allowed their highest point total of the season. Castle kept drawing fouls, then burned LA as a shooter too, knocking down 3 triples and hitting 7 of 9 at the line on his way to that season-high 30. And whenever Castle wasn't cooking, San Antonio's bench shooters were getting left wide open. Keldon Johnson and Julian Champagnie combined for 5 first-half threes simply because the Lakers kept losing track of them. Whoever worried about the Spurs having too much guard talent can relax. That's not a real problem, and San Antonio is proving exactly why. People made a big deal out of the Spurs giving De'Aaron Fox a max extension this summer, which everyone expected after the trade last February. But then they lucked into the number 2 pick and landed Dylan Harper, all while already having the reigning Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle. Suddenly, folks started questioning the plan. There were concerns about minutes, roles, and whether egos would clash once someone had to come off the bench. But so far, this trio has been all in. They're invested in each other's success. This is the best guard trio in the league, and 2 of them are barely getting started. They haven't come close to their ceilings yet, but when San Antonio needs a takeover, any one of them can deliver. That kind of versatility is rare. Most teams are lucky to have one guy who can take over a game. The Spurs have 3, and they're learning how to play off each other in real time. Castle is already running the offense even when Fox is on the floor, not because the Spurs are trying to force feed him reps, but because he's good enough to handle it. It's only a 2-game sample, but the pattern is clear. These 3 can each take over in their own way. In the matchups against the Pelicans and Lakers, Fox has taken on the leadership role, picking his spots, stepping up when the moment calls for him, and recognizing immediately when one of the other guards gets hot. Against New Orleans late, it was Dylan Harper's turn. He dropped a career-high 22 and hit the go-ahead bucket when some teammates didn't have their usual juice. The Spurs are deep overall, but their guard depth specifically makes them a nightmare, and this is only the beginning. This is exactly what Spurs fans have been waiting for. When Harper, Castle, and Fox are all healthy, defenses get no rest. For all 48 minutes, they're dealing with a guard who can get downhill, collapse the defense, and wreck a game plan on his own. None of this would be happening if Brian Wright had listened to the doubters and passed on the former Rutgers star. And we saw the full vision come to life last night. Stephon absolutely cooked the Lakers in the quarterfinals of the Emirates NBA Cup, dominant from start to finish. Credit to Mitch Johnson for trusting him after that early third foul, and credit to Castle for keeping himself in the game. He spent the night guarding Luka Dončić, who might be the league's best at drawing contact. When Castle or Fox sat, Harper kept the pressure on. His 13 points were huge, keeping the Lakers from ever getting comfortable. He's got a natural feel with the ball, going 6 of 12 from the field and sprinkling in a few assists. We're barely a quarter into his rookie year, but the moment has never been too big for the 6'5" bully. He's been poised, confident, and at times just dominant. His game looks easy, more like a veteran than a first-year player. Even though people question whether their overlapping strengths, especially all three being downhill attackers, will become a problem, it wasn't against the Lakers defense this disorganized. Whenever things tighten up, Fox stepped in and delivered big shot after big shot, killing Los Angeles' momentum every time they tried to make a run. Having a guard who thrives in those moments and settles everyone down is something the Spurs haven't really had since DeMar DeRozan, or maybe even Manu Ginobili. After years of blowing double-digit leads, it feels good not to panic when the margin isn't 20 with 7 minutes left. When Victor Wembanyama first went down with that calf injury, the Spurs had to rediscover who they were without their franchise cornerstone. What does a team built around 3 dynamic point guards look like when the 7'5" alien isn't there to dominate from above? Turns out, the answer is pretty exciting. San Antonio has shown they can outrun and outshoot just about anybody, even without Wemby. And their latest performance, a hot early shooting night that turned into a transition clinic in the second half against the Lakers, was the perfect example. They even forced Luka Dončić off the floor in the fourth quarter. Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper each took turns controlling the paint, collapsing the defense, and spraying passes out to shooters. This group has been able to adapt every night, and they look far more connected than they did even a month ago. And now, they're just 2 wins away from a fat check in Las Vegas. The rebuild, it might already be over. The Spurs found the blueprint, and if they keep this up, they're going from afterthought to dangerous very quickly. Look, nobody expected this. A month ago, people were still talking about the Spurs like a team that was a year or two away. Now they're in the NBA Cup semi-finals and playing like a squad that belongs there. This isn't a hot streak, it's an identity shift. The Spurs have a real rotation, a real system, and a real shot at contending sooner than anyone expected. This changes everything. Do you think this backcourt is legit? Is the Spurs bench underrated? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this one. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these on your screen now.